You want to sell your home and get as much money as possible. Everybody wants top dollar, of course, but you need to prepare your home. You want to get it ready to list it for the photography, for showings, but you don't want to break the bank. And every property is so different in regards to what it requires. So in this video, I want to share with you three main things, three main categories or ideas to really focus on when you're wanting to get your house ready to put on the market. Hi, I'm Jill Thomas. I'm a real estate agent here in Sarasota, Florida. I have been a Florida resident since 1991, and I've been licensed since 2008. So I've seen quite a bit happening in our town. So that's why each week I want to bring you new videos about real estate in the area, what it's like to live in Florida, and so much more. So if you've been thinking about making a move to the area or even selling your property, this might be a good channel for you to subscribe to, hit the notification bell. But really what I encourage you to do is when you're ready, give me a call, text, email me, reach out to me, however is best for you. And I would be happy to talk with you, answer questions, because like I said, everybody's different. Every house, every situation is so unique. So you can make the best choices for you and your family. I'm here to help you out. So you've been thinking about selling your home or condo, and maybe you're not really sure where to start to prepare the home because the tasks could be endless and sometimes they snowball. If you do this, then that means you should do this, and that means you should do this, and it can get out of control. So here are three things I really want you to focus on when you want to prepare your house to sell. So the first one is comfort. The second one is cleanliness. And the third word I used a C word, is cope, and that's through the mind of the buyer, not really you, but so comfort, cleanliness, cope. So let's break these three things down to help you to know what you need to do to prepare your home to put it on the market. Number one, let's talk about comfort. And this is really, really important. I don't think that this one gets stressed enough, but it's so simple, so economical things to do. So when a person walks into your home, you want them to feel at ease. You want them to feel comfortable. And that's not just because of furnishings and how it's staged. And sometimes that can really lend itself to it, but you want them to physically think of all of your senses. You want them to be comfortable. So first example is the temperature. In Florida, it's pretty stinking hot a good portion of the year. What is it, July right now? It is so hot and humid. Sometimes the air is really thick. So keep that temperature low. I know maybe you say, well, especially if the house is vacant, you don't want to keep it really high. You want to be economical. But really, if they're going from house to house to house, these buyers, it's hot, they're sticky. They want to come in, feel cool and refreshed. It makes them feel good. If they come into a home that feels stagnant, the air is stagnant, they're just not comfortable. And even if the house was just perfect for them, it could give them kind of bad feelings when they're in the property. So please don't keep your temperature set at 78. It's got to be, 75 or even lower. Keep it low. I know it's going to cost a few more dollars, but in the end, to get good money for your home, that is one of the things that will definitely help in the sale. The second thing that can bring comfort has to do with the smells. I've been in so many properties where they put a plug in every room. They've got these little things that sit on, in each bathroom, but then they'll put one in the kitchen. There'll be like 6 of them. The smell can be overwhelming. And so for some people, it's very toxic. It's not a good thing for them, and they need to leave right away. So first of all, what you would think maybe is going to be a pleasant smell, please keep that at a minimum. Don't overdo that. But then second of all, think of other things too, other smells. Maybe you've got pets. So make sure that litter box is kept super clean, or even sometimes aquariums can get a little smelly, or your animals, your pets, the dogs, the dog food, the hair, the dander. So keep all of those smells at a minimum. Also think too about what you're cooking. You don't want to, even like cauliflower, some of those vegetables or a fish, those can leave some lingering smell. So even if you don't smell it the next day, you've got a showing in the morning and you cook those foods the night before, it can be a little too much. And then also think about cleansers. A clean home, which is point number 2, we're going to talk about that. That's a good thing. But if you go too crazy with the bleaches and some of those stronger products, cleaning products can just be over the top, and it really really does not make it for a pleasant showing experience for that buyer. Another thing to think about, again, we're talking about all these senses. Let's talk about visual, keeping things, and this overlaps a little bit with the cleaning, but just visually, let's keep it free of clutter, of too much stuff. And even if I know these are maybe things that are important to you and your treasures, and you're kind of excited thinking like, oh, and maybe people are going to see these things and appreciate it. But sometimes it's just too much. It's too overwhelming visually. You want that buyer to visualize themselves in your property, their things, not all of your, the spoons that you've collected over the years from your travels or shot glasses or whatever it might be. Or sometimes people go a little too crazy there with the photos on the walls of their family and loved ones, which is really precious. But take some of those down, patch the holes, paint, keep it minimal. Less is more, because sometimes people feel very overwhelmed. Some buyers are really good about looking past that and some are not. So you want to cater to the masses and keep it as simple as possible for those buyers. So this might mean packing some of these things up, putting it in storage, putting in boxes, putting them in the garage, keeping it, again, neat and tidy, but let's minimize the visual distraction. Even sometimes too much furniture, okay? That's a thing too. You collect all these nice little pieces you love. Too much furniture in a house is just too much. So visually, let's minimize it. Less is more for that comfort. All right, moving through our senses, let's talk about sounds. That can be a big thing as well. On the pleasant side, if you have like a water feature out at your pool, a little waterfall or some other type of water feature, that's really nice to have running. Soft music is nice, but again, less is more. Don't go too crazy with loud music or something very taste specific. Just keep it nice, like soft jazz or classical music, easy listening, but again, at a lower volume. One time I was showing a property, beautiful home, beautiful swimming pool, beautiful everything. It was nice temperatures. The sellers actually left the sliders open from the house to the pool area for this showing, but they had their Alexa in the kitchen and the music was so loud. It was painful. We could hardly talk to each other. And I think the reason why they were doing that is having that loud music is beautiful house, beautiful pool. It was backed up to a kind of busy road. And so there was a lot of road noise. And I think they were trying to drown out the road noise, but in the end, it made it worse. It was such a distraction. So be careful with the music. Again, less is more, just easy, comfortable for your buyers. And then the last thing I want to mention in terms of comfort, and this is more of a bonus, it's not a have to, is maybe to have some cold bottles of water or some little prepackaged snacks for the buyers as they're touring your home. It is so hot out, and so sometimes that's such a relief, a comfort to people. Now, when I show properties, I always have ice cold waters with me because I just don't want anybody to wilt on me or get dehydrated or feel sick when we're looking at properties. But sometimes that's just a nice little added bonus if you can offer that for folks. Now, while we're showing properties, because in time, sometimes the buyers will kind of get confused in which property was which. So it's not uncommon if they give a house a nickname. So when we're talking about comfort, you do not want your nickname for your house to be the smelly house or the cluttered house or the hot house. You want something to be comforting, inviting. You want a pleasant term. So think of it like that. You don't want a buyer to walk away with something negative in their mind about your house. And these items are so easy to do. Most of them are free, with the exception of keeping your air a little bit cooler. But outside of that, it's very simple to do. So make sure that your home is a comfortable home for the buyer and that showing experience. Number 2 is cleanliness. And again, these might seem so basic, but if you can just do one little extra thing that you didn't necessarily think about before, it can really help with the presentation of your home. So cleanliness, of course, clean, like free of dirt. And then, like I already said, keeping things tidy and organized. Less is more. So let's talk about those two things together. So first of all, cleanliness. I suggest you go from room to room, look from top to bottom, left to right. Stop those ceiling fans, clean off those ceiling fan paddles. Nothing worse than if, buyers coming through and playing with switches and the ceiling fan stops and there's dirt all over the ceiling fan. It's kind of gross sometimes. So take a look at all of those things. Of course, the bathtubs, the toilets, look behind the toilets, everywhere. We want that house to be squeaky, clean, smelling good, no smells of dirt, such a big thing. And then of course, like I already said, let's declutter, let's minimize, pack things up, sell things off if you can or need to. If you need to get a storage unit, let's say you do have an abundance of furniture for some reason. If you can't put it in a storage unit, if you can't, then let's get your garage organized, pack some of those things up and put some items in the garage. I would rather have more cluttered garage and a neat and tidy house than for the stuff to be spread everywhere and just have a super neat garage. I've seen some people where you can tell the owners are probably OCD. They were so clean, so tidy. Even in the garage, they store a lot of things out there. And even with that, it looked really good. So that gives the buyers a feeling of confidence. Like, okay, these people are maintaining things. Oh, one other thing, I guess this kind of falls underneath number 3, but it just popped in my head. When it comes to cleanliness, is check those air filters on the air conditioning units. Change those out. Again, nothing worse than having a nice clean house and then we see an air filter and it's just black, it's filthy, it's gunky. Doesn't give that buyer that peace of mind that we want them to have when they're going through your home. Now, of course, make sure you too also look in closets, open up all those cabinet doors. These people are going to open up everything in your house. So you want it to be neat and clean and tidy everywhere, organized, so they can go, yeah, I can make this work for me. So all of that work goes a long way. Again, most of the stuff is free. It just takes a little bit of energy and some cleaning supplies. Now, one thing definitely to consider too is after you're cleaning and you're wiping down walls and getting those little fingerprints off of everything and the doors, get that magic eraser out, go at it. If you need to, please add some fresh coats of paint. Again, minimal money goes a long way because it just makes the house not look so tired and worn out. It has a nice fresh feel. Again, it kind of goes along with the comfort. So all these things are tied together but yet broken down so you can think about them separately. And one other area please do not neglect is the outdoors. So often the buyers are coming through the front door every day. Make sure that's swept off, the little cobwebs, wipe down that front door. If there's glass there, get that Windex out. You want all of that to be clean. And even the lockbox, if there's a lockbox there, make sure the lockbox doesn't look dirty. And it could go from clean to dirty from the yard guy, somebody doing yard work and just, the pollen and a little dirt and grass and stuff kicks up on it. Wipe that off because otherwise, if it looks dirty, then buyers are going to think, oh man, they haven't had showings in forever because look how dirty that lockbox is. And then outside around the lanai, the pool area, or even main walking areas outside, make sure all of that's super clean. Spray down your lanai. And then also knock down cobwebs. I cannot tell you how many times I've walked through cobwebs. So now usually I take my piece of paper, here's part of my script, and I wave it in front of myself to get those cobwebs out of my face because sometimes you just can't see them very well. So I'll use my papers to sacrifice my papers so I don't have to walk through this cobweb. So that's really just a gross feeling when people have to do that or when that happens. And those little spider webs can be made pretty darn quick. So just keep an eye on those items. Make sure things are kept clean inside and out. So like I said before, even if you are pretty clean, neat, and tidy, one little undone thing can all of a sudden leave a bad idea in a buyer's head. So like I said, the dirt on the ceiling fan or something like that, and I've seen some crazy things that people have left out, but those are the extreme. Most people are really quite good about all of this. So again, think about those nicknames. You want, to have the clean house. You want to be the Marie Kondo of homes, right? You don't want to be the messy house, the sloppy house. You want everything to be just so nice. So those are good things to do. And again, very inexpensive, if not free. Number 3 is cope. And this is the one where it can get a little bit more sticky or it might involve a little bit more money, but I'm here to help you out with this. So the idea with cope is, what can a potential buyer cope with when they're looking at your house? So we're talking about the condition of the home. What needs attention? What's broke? What's been neglected? Maybe what's outdated? What's at the end of its lifespan? So we want to evaluate all of those things. So some of these items are going to be cosmetic. Some are what we call warrantable. And the reason why I'm using these 2 specific terms is that's what our contracts use. So then it flows well when you go to sell your house, or even if somebody's buying a house, these words will be a little bit more familiar to you. So cosmetic is kind of obvious stuff. Things that might be working just fine, but they're outdated or worn out carpet, or a wall that needs paint, or actually cracked tile. That is cosmetic. That is not warrantable. Honestly, even if you had a little hole in a wall, that is cosmetic. It's not warrantable. Peeling wallpaper, cosmetic. So I think that makes sense. Warrantable, the big stuff. We're talking electric, plumbing, AC, roof, appliances, anything maybe to do with the swimming pool, windows, doors, locks. All of those things are considered warrantable items. Now you might think, okay, Jill, I want to sell my house as is. I don't want to worry about any of these things. I don't want to make any repairs. I just don't want to do it. And I get that, because there's something kind of just peace of mind, just knowing it is what it is, y'all, take it or leave it. So I get that idea, but times have changed for sure here in the state of Florida with insurance. It's really tough to get insurance now. It's not so much hard, but the insurance companies are very, very picky. So what happens though is these buyers are getting a loan. In order to get a loan, they have to have insurance. They can't get insurance on your house. They're not getting the loan. They can't buy your house. And how do the insurance companies know what's going on? Well, we have to, the buyer has to get from an inspector something called a 4-point inspection, where they focus on electric, plumbing, the AC, or actually technically the heat, and the roof. So all of those areas have to be as clean as can be. If you're not up to code, you don't have GFIs in wet spots, then they're not getting insurance. Even just some basic sluggish drains or something like that with the plumbing, they're not getting insurance. If there's any leaks, or if they just think that the roof is towards the end of its life, they're not getting insurance. If the AC is not cooling properly, they're not getting insurance. So all of those things are super important for you to address up front. Now, if you say, Jill, again, I don't want to do that, well, that's fine. Then we need to find a buyer who's paying cash and willing to take that risk of not having insurance for a while until they can get those things fixed. When we have that kind of buyer, they're going to pay less money than market value, because they're taking on that risk of initially not having homeowners insurance. So that's fine if you want to go that route. That's not a problem, but just keep that in mind. And so we're limiting that coping to one type of buyer. That's it, instead of trying to appeal to the masses. So if you know of anything that's wrong with your house as well, then that has to be disclosed. Or when I'm aware of it, I have to disclose it, even if you don't want me to. So sorry, because I do value my license. So those things have to be disclosed up front. So consider anything that you know that's not working properly, have that repaired. Or if you're so inclined, have a full-on inspection, and some of those big things that come up, repair them, and then we can disclose that too. Even big repairs. These repairs have to be disclosed to buyers also, just not if you know something's wrong. And honestly, if you disclose that you've made repairs, that's a good thing. The buyer's gonna, again, have peace of mind thinking, okay, the seller's fixing stuff. Again, that helps with that coping, and we're removing hurdles from them that could stop them from putting an offer in on your home. And that's what we're looking to do. Now, we talk about the cosmetic things, the worn out carpet, outdated things that are just kind of funky or whatever. Again, that's where I'm going to come in, help you out, help you figure out, where do we draw that line? Is it worth it for you to put some new carpet in a property? It might not. And I'll help you based on my experience, based on what I know buyers are looking at and thinking about. It depends too on the type of property you have. And then we'll also look at comps, because let's say the house down the street has the same kind of funky thing that your house has, and it's sold just fine, then we're not going to worry about it in your house. So again, the idea is, let's figure out what we can do to minimize as many hurdles for that buyer so they can cope with the condition of your house, but without you spending big bucks to get there. So we're going to try to find that nice balance. So when that buyer has come through your house, instead of them thinking, oh my gosh, that house is a money pit. Again, these nicknames, you don't want to be the money pit house. You want to be the house that's, hey, it's solid. Yep, the kitchen's not updated. It's got older cabinets, but man, that house is solid, and I feel good about that. So that's a good thing. So that's what we're talking about with our 3 C's. And they all, again, overlap a bit: comfortable, clean, and then a house that a buyer can cope with. Now, when you're thinking about these 3 categories, comfort, cleanliness, and the buyer being able to cope with the condition of your house, even if you did all these things perfectly, please know it doesn't mean that you're going to sell your house for more money than any other home ever in your neighborhood. We're trying to maximize efforts, do things on a budget, keep it simple for you. And sometimes it's just a matter of the house not sitting on the market for so long. What it can also mean is maybe eliminating these buyers who want to come in with really low offers because they come in and let's say the house isn't clean. Let's say the house does smell. They're just going to go, this house isn't worth this much money. I'm going to offer, I want to offer 20% off the list price, 15, 10% off the list price. It should really minimize or eliminate all of those folks. Now you're always going to get these lowball investors, people who have never even seen the house, and they're just throwing numbers out there to a lot of listings. Okay, those will always happen. But we're talking just for your normal average buyer who's looking to get a property here in the Sarasota area. So keep those things in mind. Of course, I'm here to help you out, help you to figure out where to draw those lines. So if you're thinking about selling, give me a call. I can come out for a listing appointment. We can talk through those things. Now, for you viewers out there who have listed homes, or even for buyers, what are some things that you have seen that have been major turnoffs? Put those in the comments below, or even things that you've been really impressed with. Put those in the comments below too, because that does help everybody out as they're, doing their research. Okay, guys, if there's anything I can do for you, reach out to me. Have a great day.